Hi guys, this is Suzette the Marriage Warrior, and we're going to talk about what leads to separation in your marriage. Well, obviously, if you guys are starting to feel a divide, you're going to feel like you're going to need to separate because the abuse inside of the division causes so much pain that you have to pull away from it. That's what leads to separation. So then you have to decide, okay, what is causing the divide? Well, obviously you're not communicating well, or you can't get through the communication cycle. So if you're feeling that divide that will eventually lead to separation because of the pain in the divide, then you got to get some help. You just have to surrender and get some help because you can't do it by yourself. You are stuck in a cycle. You both have given up on that particular cycle. You have seen it doesn't work, and you have been discouraged by it. And a lot of times in a separation type of division, it's the cycle is toxic in the way that it's harming each person's self-core, which your self-worth continues to disintegrate. And that in a human is a no-go. We all know the feeling of that, and we all know we have to move away from that. And the conflict is because you're married and you love this person and you have a family and a future and all these dreams you had that are failing to come true because of the divide. When a one flesh entity starts to divide, it literally feels like your flesh is tearing away from you, because when God joined it together, he joined it in tightly, and all of those things that y'all developed in life are also part of that. So it's not only the heart ties that you have and the soul ties that you have with your emotions, your mind, and your behaviors and your will, that the choices that you made together, but it's also all of the things that you accumulated together to be part of your dreams together. So when that starts to break down, it feels like your flesh is tearing apart of you. And so the pain of that, you have to start deciding the pain of the flesh tearing because of the division. Is it more painful than separating, which is also another pain? So you really have a competition of the two pains. What can I handle more? Because most people that separate are separating because they're trying to hold on to their own core worth. And it's not a selfish thing. It's because the pain has the power to then break down the core worth. So it's very dangerous. It's dangerous to your humanity as a person. It's dangerous to the men in their masculine energy. It's dangerous to the women to flow in their feminine energy. It's dangerous to the children. I mean, it is not a fun thing. And all of us know that. None of us get married to get separated or divorced. We all know that. But the pain of the core being broken down so much becomes more painful than the thought of separating and then facing all of those other conflicts that come with separating. So if you are feeling that in your relationship, you must get help, and you must sit down, your partner sit down and talk about how in the world can we fix this, because it's not livable. And if you have a partner that's willing to go get help, that's what you need to do. If you have a partner that's willing to do some work with you, that's what you need to do. And it's going to all start with communication. The reason the therapeutic community is even there, or the clergy is even there, is because two people have not learned to speak their own voice in a manner that's respectful to the other, that doesn't trigger the other one, and that the triggers then start manifesting in anger in the relationship to tear down more. So it does require the communication. And then you have to decide, has just too much damage been done? I mean, sometimes we've got to get there. I mean, if you've been cheated on, or if the trust issues have just been there and you've forgiven, you've tried to work it through, but it's just not working. I mean, you can't do it anymore. I mean, you have to take those self-assessments as well. I would also get you to, entertain a therapist for that as well, or a counselor, or whomever you want to go to. Sometimes it's just a friend that you open up with, but just to make sure you're balancing your thought, make sure you're thinking about it clear. And when you do talk about those things to someone else, a third party, make sure you're putting yourself involved in it, like, telling on yourself, not just blame, shifting everything to your partner. Just say, this is what I do wrong in the relationship, and these are the issues that I have, so that it doesn't feel so one-sided and you feel like a teenager in there tattling on the partner that you decided to join your life with. Keep that respect between the two of y'all if you can, because sometimes the pain is just so abrupt that the anger and the rage is there to be the front of that vulnerability. It shows as a mask. That's why anger and rage is there, is because it's masking a pain that needs to be healed. And if that partner or yourself have so much rage and anger, you got to deal with that first, and you got to ask that to remove, because it is protecting your vulnerability, so that you can then move into your vulnerable feelings of how you really feel about the situation and if there's just too much damage. But this is the reason that people start separating, is because the divide inside of the one flesh entity becomes more painful than the actual confrontation of a separation. I hope that is not you. I hope you can catch it sooner than when it does happen, that you have to actually consider separation. But that's why you're needing to consider it. And if you want to do it sooner, get some help right now. Pull your partner into getting help, because at least the help will allow you both to start talking, because you're both afraid of speaking, because it gets y'all into the toxic cycle that then breaks down the core self. If you like this content, please subscribe below.